Okay, so I have pushed the live stream. Now you can make me co-host.
Okay, I'll do that. Let me just go back here for a second. Actually, no, that is probably better. Um, got it. More co-host. Yep, there we go. Okay, right. It's 2 o'clock. Let's see who comes in. Welcome those who are live streaming and watching us. It's a cold, blustery day here in Perth, Australia. And I'm hoping to be able to chat with a few of you today. If not, Brandon and I will be getting to know each other. So we will find out where we live, what we do, and what our hobbies are. And from that, we will be able to see what we have in common. Right. Okay, Brandon. As I say, it's 2 o'clock in the morning in America in most states. The earliest it is I think if it's 3 hours, we are 11, 10, 9, 8. Yeah, it's 2 hours behind, possibly. So it could be midnight in some of the states, but that's still incredibly late to be up. So only if you're a night owl like myself will you be up at this time of night. So we will see what we will see. Right.
Yeah, so just wait. We will wait 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah. We'll wait till 5 past and see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Give them 5 minutes to come on into class. Because there are people in both India and Australia that the time is right for them. Hopefully in the future, we have got some people that we are busy thinking of coming to join us in Australia. So that'll be lovely. But yeah, we've got.
So isn't it too late for you to host classes at this time?
No, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
Yeah,
So,
but
oh,
but for
no.
US market,
For US market, yes, far too late. But what they're hoping to do is to attract the Australian market because
yeah,
we are
that
here
would be
in
good. That would be good.
so as soon as we can eventually um, uh, as soon as we can uh, do that. Oh, there we go. Oh, Melinda Manning. Melinda is in the US, so very nice. Right. Hi, Melinda. Lovely to have you in class. It's very late for Melinda, I think, but we'll find out once her audio is connected. Hi, Melinda. How are you? Okay. Melinda's quiet tonight. Right, Brandon, I think it's 2:03. We'll give them one more minute to come in and then we'll see who has or hasn't made it into class. I want to see if I can send you. Okay, so let me send you that. Right, so Melinda, can you type in the messages what the time is in your city at the moment if you don't want to chat? Because I'm intrigued. It's very, very late for America, as it's 2 in the afternoon, 2 p.m. it is for you. Okay. Right. Brandon,
So
do
I think
you look at
so I so I think she's having issue with her microphone.
Okay, can you help her? See if you can help her. Thanks. We'll just wait while. Okay. All right. Are you looking at 5 past, Brandon?
Yeah, I logged at 11:07.
11:07. Okay. Right. So we've just got another few more minutes before to go. Right. As you saw my message to you, not unusual, not unusual at all. Often in, never speaks. All right. Brenda, let's have a look. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you. So, it always jumps. Right, today the social hour is come and make new friends. And so today we're going to look at where people are in the world that around us. So let's just have a look and see. I'm going to skip me at the moment. Here's where we are in the world. We've got people in Canada, we've got people in America, we've got people in South America, got people in South Africa, got people in England, we've got people in India, we've got people in just off the islands, just off China, that sort of area, Singapore, and we've got people in Australia. Do you know of other people that we have had in our classes?
So far, I think just India, Australia, and America. I think
no, we've got people
most.
from South Africa. I've had 2 or 3 in from South Africa.
You are talking about the learners.
Yeah,
You are talking.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we've had learners from South Africa. There's one.
And also from New Zealand as well.
Yes, New Zealand as well. So we need to add some people. I did have people in New Zealand. I don't know what happened to them. They seem to have hopped off the page. I'll have to put them back on the page because we've definitely had people from New Zealand. And so, yes, slowly, we are getting around the world. I have actually had a lady from China as well. As the young girl, Ye Ling, that comes in. She comes from China. And so we do have people from around the world.
She's from China, or she lives in America, I guess.
No, because her time zone's the same as mine. That's how I know, because we spoke that our time zones were the same. And so it was very interesting that she had joined us, and she's come to a few lessons, which has been really awesome to have her with us. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to learn about each other. It's just you and me. So, Brandon, where are you from?
Okay, so I'm from Pakistan.
And which part of Pakistan are you from?
Basically, I'm from Lahore.
From Lahore. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Have you ever heard about Lahore or Pakistan?
Yes, I've heard of Lahore. Yes, yeah. My husband's son, he traveled around India, Pakistan. He loved it. He really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, because the natural beauty of Pakistan and India is absolutely gorgeous. Mountains, Himalayas, the lovely sights to visit.
Okay, so there are wonderful sites to see in there. Tell me a little about. Is it a lot of bush? If I were to come, what would I expect to see?
So basically, it depends on the area. If you'll visit the northern areas of Pakistan, you'll see natural beauty, more or less, mountains, valleys, and these kind of stuffs. But if you visit the cities of Pakistan, like Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad, then you'll see the buildings and traffic and all this kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, are the buildings very tall in Pakistan?
Yeah, if Pakistan is a very developed country.
Yeah, no, what I was meaning was, are the buildings very tall? You know, I mean, in South
No,
Africa,
no,
our tallest building, we had one that was 50 stories. Other than that, everything was below. But if you
it's
go to the
yeah, it's
others,
not, yeah, it's not tall as Dubai building, but is it tall in Pakistan? The largest building, the tallest building in Pakistan, I guess, is uh 60 or 56 floors, I guess.
right? Okay, all right. So but that's still pretty big, you know. It's that's tall. And do you have a lot of earthquakes? I mean, I know I've heard of earthquakes, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do,
but mostly at the northern part of the Pakistan, not at
right?
the central part of, or at middle of the Pakistan, not that.
Okay, so in this now I'm just trying to think of where Lahore is on a map. It's um in the center, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
is it,
is it
yeah.
is it is it in the center of,
Mm,
at Punjab? Basically, it's the province of Punjab, where is Lahore.
right. Okay. And temperature-wise, is it a tropical country? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
think where it's quite, so it's hot.
no. We have all
Not
four
just,
seasons. Yeah,
you
we
have
have
all
all
four
four
seasons.
seasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
but right now it's really hot in Pakistan. It's
Okay,
really
so
hot. It's
what
it's
do you mean
45.
by real? Okay,
It's
45.
40,
Yes,
45 or
okay,
46, and
okay,
humidity is more than 60, I guess.
okay. No, I complain when we get to 43, so I
Yeah,
can,
it's
I can, it's hot.
it's really cold for you nowadays, so you can say
Uh,
that.
yeah, no, but in summer we can go up to 43.
43.
So yeah, we can get up to 43.
Yep, but I
Usually
guess
we
some,
round about 38. 38 is
okay,
sort of the
okay. But
average.
but I guess some part of Australia are really hot,
Hmm.
more than
The
43, I
center.
guess.
The center of Australia in the desert, very hot. Because remember, most of Australia is actually a desert. You've got
Okay.
that. That's why everybody lives on the two coasts, the coast of Australia. All the big cities are either on the east coast, which is 99% of them, and then you've got
Okay.
Perth on the west coast. But because it's that is, people live on the coast, they don't live inland. It's very beautiful, but very dry and very hot.
So
So
Sue, tell me something about yourself. Why you leave South Africa?
why did I leave South Africa? Well, I left sort of South Africa to come to Australia to help to look after my grandchildren here in Australia. I have two sons, and
Okay.
one lives in South Africa and one lives here. The one in South Africa did not have children when I considered coming to help the other one. And he said, "No, Mom, go. We're not having kids for 5 years. Yeah, just go." Well, 9 months later, the first one was born. So now I have two little grandchildren in South Africa. They live in Cape Town. My son is an actor in Cape Town, and
Okay.
he acts in movies for Britain and for America
Oh,
and for
great.
series, and then also does voiceovers around the world as well
Oh,
for
that's great.
adverts and things like that. Yeah.
So
So that's,
how many time in a year you visit South Africa?
I haven't seen my grandchildren, and the one is three, nearly three, and the other one's nearly a year. I haven't seen them.
Okay. So it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, I used to try. It took me 7 years to get to Australia to see my Australian grandchildren, because
Oh,
it really does take because it's expensive and it's a lot to do. So yes, I came over to visit and then was asked to come and be get a parental visa and stay to look after the grandchildren and be closer to my son. So that's
okay.
exactly what we've done. And now we're waiting. The parental visa takes 5 years. It's already year 5 now. So hopefully this year or beginning of next year, my parental visa will come through.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
So
how you, how you
Mhm.
compare your life in South Africa as to Australia?
Well, when I was growing up, it was awesome. Right up until 2000 and over 2000, life was really good. Um, it it was in a very much of a transition period when I started teaching, because before that they'd had a thing called apartheid, where the black Africans and the white
Yeah.
Africans were separated, and that started to change. And I taught at a private school. We were the first school to have mixed school. And
Oh,
so for us, it was really awesome. We started the trend of mixed schools, and it was very exciting. And the children don't know the difference. They don't see color. So there
yeah.
really wasn't any problem at all. They integrated with each other very well indeed. And then what they did from there was it came. Then Mandela was released, and while Mandela was the president, the country was really well run. He was able to keep everything, the standards, and increase the standards of those who had been underprivileged, and the country was really doing well. But unfortunately, Mandela was old, and so he had to step down and step
Yeah.
back. And the
Yeah.
person who took over from him was okay. But unfortunately, the one after that was not. He was very corrupt, and our country went from where it was down, 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 down. Everything started to collapse.
Yeah.
The, so
Yeah.
that
That's my
was really
point.
sad.
That's my
Mm.
point that Africa still have many issues, I guess.
It does. It's on its way up again with the person that's in there now. He's not corrupt, as far as I can see anyway. And so it's slowly changing. But when you've had so much corruption in, you've
Yeah.
got to get rid of all of that
Yeah.
before
It
you
take
can
time. It takes
really
time.
go on. But it will return to the way it was. I have no doubt about it. And it really is a beautiful country, and
Yeah.
a
It really
really
is.
yeah, I've lived in different parts, mainly in the center of um, South Africa, near Johannesburg, between two of the big cities. But Michael's family and my family both live in Cape Town. So when we do go, we will go to Cape Town. Or he has lived in Cape Town. He's lived along the coast in a few places. So we will certainly be going there to see grandchildren on both sides. He has 9 children, so we have 11 between us and the grandchildren. So from being an only child to being a family of a large family has been a wonderful experience to do and
Yeah.
a wonderful
Yeah. That
experience to
is
have. But I
absolutely.
must
Absolutely.
say, I love Australia. I love the freedom. I love that everything works. I mean, the joke has always been African time. You would say, we've got a meeting at 2 o'clock. And if they arrive by 4 o'clock, wow, we've got a meeting. And if they arrive by 6 o'clock, well, now it's getting a little late for the 2 o'clock meeting. But African time, very much, time doesn't matter. Time is
Yeah.
not important. And I laughed when I came to Australia. I caught a bus and I was waiting at the bus stop, and the bus arrived. And there was a little old lady next to me, and she got on the bus and she scolded the bus driver. You're 1 minute late. You're
Oh.
1 minute late.
Oh
And
my God.
he said there was some traffic. And I just packed up laughing, and she looked at me. I said, you obviously don't come from Africa. I said, you're lucky if the bus comes 2 hours late. You go, yes, there's the bus. you know and she sort of looked at me and thinking I was joking, but that the time is not an important thing at all. In fact, if you want people there on time, you tell them 2 or 3 hours before time, and you put out a little tea for the few who do arrive on time, and the rest of them will come in at the correct time if you're lucky. So it's a very, very different world, but it's such a beautiful country. The scenery throughout the country is magnificent. When I do my road trip on Thursday, I've chosen not to choose a place that or an area to do a road trip in that everybody knows, like Cape Town or one of
Yeah.
those. I've chosen to go inland to where within the mountain area to a place called Bladder River Canyon. And it is beautiful there with lots of wonderful waterfalls. A place called Berksluk Potholes, where the rocks have been worn away by the water. So it looks like huge potholes all over the place. And so it really is an exquisite area. So I want to start off the road trip with that. And then other people are going to tell us their road trips of places they've been to that are really awesome to go and see and look at. So that I'm hoping will turn out to be a really good one that we're going to do. And then we've also, again, thinking of traveling, I'm doing one on Perth because even the people on the East Coast say, we don't know very much about Perth. It's too far away. When people from America asked me to do it, my bosses who all live on the East Coast went, yeah, we don't know much about Perth. We'd like to know too. So if that is successful and people like it, then I was thinking of maybe choosing different cities, different places around the world, and just doing a little bit of a tour of that particular place, maybe Venice, maybe London, maybe just choosing different places around the
Have you
world.
ever have you ever been to London?
Hmm. Yeah, a few times. Yeah, I've been to London a few times. I've been when I saw a huge number of places very quickly when I
Yeah,
was 16.
it's a great country, London. It's a great
Yeah,
city, London.
yeah. Two of Michael's children live in London, so we definitely will be going back there. But when I was 16, I did one of those tours where if it's Tuesday, it's Spain. If it's Wednesday, it's Italy. Or it's Rome, then it's Venice the next day. Then it's Florence the day after. Then you're into Germany, and then you're into.
Oh,
So
oh,
you sort of in like 6 weeks you cover 9 countries, and so
okay.
you got to see an awful lot of places, and then from there you could choose which ones you'd like to actually go back to.
So,
So
Sue,
that was a lot of fun.
which country did you find most pleasant or peaceful to visit or to stay?
Well, to stay here in Perth, very, very, very peaceful, very, very pleasant. What I love about is that each suburb has its own park. Each
Okay.
suburb has its own little, I think they call them reserves. I call them a little forest. So there's natural beauty there as well. And it goes from suburb to suburb. So it runs all the way through. Although they've taken away some of the habitat of the animals, they've left some habitat behind for the birds and the little animals to live in.
So
So
what about
for
Paris?
Paris, I had a horrible experience in Paris. It was
Why?
my own fault. It was entirely my own fault. It was many, many years ago. I had finished school and I was on this trip through all the different countries. And
Okay.
one of my friends from school, she was French and she'd left school early to start at the Sorbonne University. So we had a day in which to do your own thing. She came and fetched me from the hotel very innocently. I didn't even think to look at my hotel and what the name was. I can remember the name now, but at the time I couldn't. And we went for a wonderful day through Paris. She was showing me everything, and I really enjoyed it. And then we went to the Latin Quarter for dinner, and we were in the student area, and suddenly all the fountains were filled with foam and bubbles, and then there were a whole lot of policemen with what I called dustbin lids and rifles over the top. And she said, oh dear, yes, there's a riot on tonight. And I went, there's a what? So she said, look, I can't get out of here because I'm French, but you go and you tell them that you can only speak English and you show them who you are. They'll let you go. So I did that.
Oh
But
my
once I
God.
was out, I didn't know where my hotel was. I didn't know. and you don't have phones. I didn't have a map. I didn't have anything. I knew it was somewhere off the Champs-Élysées. And for 4 hours through the night, I walked down that Champs-Élysées looking for my hotel. I found it at 5:30 in the morning as they were loading our bus ready to go to the next city
Oh
that
my
we were going
God.
to. So I had an interesting. Look, I love Paris. I loved all the things, but I will never forget the hotel's name again, ever. And everywhere we went after that, I made quite sure I knew where I was and what I was doing, because I had never left home before, and I was 16 years old, so I really
So,
was not
so
travel
that was your
savvy.
first trip.
Uh-huh. My first time away from home, and our family only did from A to B and then back to A. So there was no traveling around. So it was very interesting. It was very different, but yeah, something to remember
Yeah, absolutely.
along the way. But yes, no, look, I loved one of my favorite cities was Venice. I really loved Venice and the Bridge of Sighs, and how you had to go everywhere on little
Yeah,
boats.
I
It's
also
like,
heard a lot about Venice.
oh, you must go there if you ever can. It really is. It's so unique and so different because there are no streets. You don't walk down a street. There isn't one. The streets are
Okay.
water.
Yeah,
It's made up of 118 islands, and all
yeah,
these little islands fit together. And then you use bridges to get from one island
yeah,
to the next.
absolutely. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of
Mm,
Venice.
mm.
It's really a beautiful place.
And they do some beautiful work with glass. They do a lot of beautiful glass blowing and cameo making. And there's really beautiful stuff to see. And then, of course, as I say, my favorite bridge is the Bridge of Sighs. It's a tiny little bridge that goes from one building to another. On this side is the courthouse, and on this side is the jail.
Oh,
So as the people cross over from the courthouse to the jail, they'll go, I don't want to go there. And so that's how it got its name of the Bridge of Sighs. But for
uh,
me, that was just, lots of funny little things to know and do. Oh, it's a bit late for Marla to be able to come in. I don't know if she can even get in. Oh, she can. All right. Hi, Marla. Hello. Hi, Marla. Hi, lovely to have you in
Yes.
class.
Yes,
Hi.
sorry, I'm late. I just came in. Yes.
No, that's absolutely fine. Welcome.
Great, thank you.
Whereabouts are you, Marla?
I'm from Malaysia,
Right. Which part of Malaysia are you from?
in Kuala Lumpur.
In Kuala Lumpur. Okay.
Yes.
I often wanted, well, that was our going to be our next stop. We go to Bali a lot because it's closest to Australia. But we
Yes.
wanted to then extend it to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur was our next thought of stop. So that's so interesting.
So where are you? You are from the US or
No. I'm
Australian?
Australia. I live in
And
Perth, Australia,
okay.
on the west coast. So I live in the only city on the west coast. As you can see, it's winter time. It's a cold day
I
today.
know, I can imagine. Because I have a lot of family living in Australia.
hello.
I have my nephew stays in Sydney and one stays in Melbourne. My sister is in Melbourne. So I'm used to Australia. And it's so sad that we can't travel.
Yeah. That we stay where we are at the moment, very much so.
Exactly.
Have you ever been to the West Coast?
I've been to Perth because my daughter studied in Perth. So I went for her graduation.
Okay, right.
So that's that was it. But I found Perth too quiet for me.
It's a laid back city. It is a very much laid back city.
I think so. But there were interesting things, but I'm not sure whether I would like to live in Perth. But
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yes, I'm sure maybe I must go back again. But my daughter studied there in Murdoch.
So yes, Murdoch University, right?
Yes, so she loved it there. So what do you do? Tell me.
What
Sue.
do I do? I moved to Australia 3 years ago.
Okay.
I used to live in South Africa. I lived there for 63 years. And
Wow,
then,
South Africa.
yeah,
I've been to Tanzania, and I went on a safari, but Joburg, South Africa is a
mhm.
place I've always wanted to go. So why did you move from South Africa to Perth?
Because my son lives here with my grandchildren. So I
Oh, that's
moved here to be with
family
my
pull, the
grandchildren
family
and help
pull.
look.
Yes.
But I have a son in South Africa, and I have got two little
Okay.
grandchildren there that I've never seen because I was due to go last year to see them, and we couldn't. So
COVID.
I haven't seen
Yes.
them yet. I'm known as Granny in the phone. They think I live
Okay,
in the
I know,
phone
I know, I know, I know.
because
I have two grandchildren in Houston, and they're wondering why I can't come out from the phone onto them. When are you going to come here, Grandma? You know, it's so
well,
funny. Yes.
hopefully we'll have holograms and we'll be able to be holographically projected there,
Exactly,
and then they
exactly.
can see us. They can't
So
touch us.
tell me, Sue, when you moved to Perth, was it temporary or you decided to live in Perth?
No, I applied for a parental visa so that I could live
Okay,
in Perth. My husband and I moved across. He's also a guide in Get Set Up. So we
okay.
both do that. I'm an educator. I have been for 44 years. I've
Wow.
taught all ages from little ones right up to adults. So, but here in Get Set Up, I share my ideas and I share my times with
It's
them and
nice.
things like that.
You are so interesting. What did you teach like for children? Because I'm also I used to teach sort of English
Mhm.
for adults, and
Right.
because I used to do insurance and my working experience was insurance, I used to teach insurance subjects. But now I like to teach my grandchildren, so I'm teaching them phonetics and stuff like that. So what
Well,
did you teach?
I taught the little ones. I taught to year 1, 2, and 3. In fact, I taught all the way up to year 7. But I also specialized. English was my major, but I
Okay.
specialized in things like technology, but not IT. Technology where you learn how things work. How do you, why do the windows go up and down? What makes them go up and down? So gears, wheels, axles,
Oh,
all
that's
those sort of things. And that
so
was,
where did you learn that? Where did you learn that from?
it was
Online or
no, it was a subject that it came into the curriculum at school, and I
okay,
chose to study it in full. And then there was a technology society, and I was actually the head of that in South Africa for a while. And
okay,
we did it throughout the country. It was a countrywide subject, and
okay.
I loved it. It was, in fact, probably my best subject that I ever
Wow.
taught. And then I also taught in the poorer areas, the squatter areas.
Okay.
I taught the
Okay.
teachers to teach because they just didn't have the money to be able to go to university or to college, but they were looking after little children. So I
Wow.
bridged that middling there to just show them what they could do with the children and the games they could play, the things they could do with them, and that sort of thing. So I did that for 4 years or 5 years on a Saturday when I
Okay,
wasn't.
nice,
So
nice.
that was really nice. It was very,
So
very, very
how old are
fulfilling.
your children in Perth now? Grandchildren.
12 and 9.
So do you teach them still what you learned, or they
They when they come to visit, and that we make things, we do things,
okay. Oh,
and
nice.
so we do structures, or we do puzzles, or we do something different every time. We work with create from waste and make design things and make things, and so that works really well. They thoroughly enjoy doing that.
So how do you spend your time in Perth now with all this in lockdowns and on off lockdowns, you know?
Well, we've been very fortunate living in WA. They've shut their borders very quickly to everybody, including the East.
I
And
can
we,
imagine.
in the year, however, the year and a bit, we've actually only had 3 mini lockdowns of a week at a time. Other than
Okay.
that, we haven't been locked down at all. So we led basically a very normal life here.
And
We've
no
had to wear
wearing masks and all that?
no. We've only worn
Wow.
masks for a week twice. We had to wear masks for a week.
Well, Perth,
But other than
well,
that,
they should shout about Perth then. Perth is an example to follow. And I think on the whole, Australia is an example to follow because they've shut down, even if they have 5 cases, they have a lockdown. And in Malaysia, we
locked
have
down
like,
for one. We locked down last time for one.
wow. In
So, yeah.
Malaysia, we have now, yesterday, 5,000 cases a day. And that's why we are all suffering with lockdown, double masking, shield, and full-on vaccination.
Right. Now, you see, I think I could be wrong, but from what I know, we've only, in WA, we've had far less than 1,000 cases altogether. In fact,
Wow.
we've had even less than that. Australia has had quite the most amazing short amount of people compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
And so Australia COVID count. I'm just checking for you now because it is an incredible. Tell me a little about yourself while I.
Okay, I am I'm a grandmother with 4 grandchildren. I have 2 living in Malaysia, a little girl, granddaughter who's 8, and a grandson who's only 8 months. There's a big gap there. Yeah,
yes.
And Houston. So she's got her daughter, which is 4.5 years old, and a son who's 2 years old. So they all work. And so I usually make a trip to Houston every year, but not seen them for a year and a half. Again,
right.
for the
Oh,
close.
yes,
So
because of that. Yes.
So I used to work in an insurance company. Well, I've been working till end of last year, doing communications because that's what I learned studying in corporate communications. And then now I write part-time writer. I write for magazines and I do copywriting.
Lovely.
Yes. So it's really interesting, the writing that I'm doing. I write for a business and investment magazine. It's a bit slow now because my job is to interview CEOs of companies who are very successful. But with COVID and this lockdown, we can't do face-to-face. So I just go and we slowed down a bit there. But I think in a month's time, start. So I got to interview them and write about their profile and then send it back to them. If they like it, then it gets featured in the magazine. So it is very interesting to learn from how different people, have come up the corporate ladder.
And also, of course, the rags to riches stories, the people who started with nothing and now look where they are.
And look where they are. Yes, there's lots of stories like that. So tell me about South Africa. I am intrigued about South Africa because I really wanted to go to Durban and Joburg and all these places.
Cape Town.
Cape Town, yes, Cape Town.
Cape Town. Yes, look, South Africa is a really beautiful country. The scenery, the animal life is really, really spectacular.
Wow.
The temperature is very much of a moderate temperature, not too hot, not too cold.
Right.
We used to think we were hot when we reached 30 degrees. We'd go, wow, it's hot. Now we reach 43 and we're going,
Malaysia,
oh, it's hot.
27, 28, yes.
Yeah, so it's completely different. So yes, but yes, it's as I was saying to Brandon a little earlier,
Mhm.
The country did take a bit of a dive with a bit of corruption, but I
Yes,
can see and hear from the families who live there that it's definitely improving again. It's slowly creeping up. It's going to take time
I know.
to be able to build back. But the beauty of the country and we've got all of our family, most of our family live in Cape Town. So when we go back, we'll go to Cape Town, which is an exquisite place to
I
go
know.
to.
I heard about Cape Town. It's so beautiful. But
Mm.
now that you've moved to Perth, won't you miss Cape Town, your
No,
place where you have met all your friends over all these years?
yes,
Yeah.
yes and no. Um,
Okay.
m- my husband and I, we both of us agree that your home is where your heart is. So wherever
Yes.
you are, it can be anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
And so we find that we don't see too many people while we're here because of working hours, and I've been doing a lot of extra working as well. So because of that, we are able to we don't go out very much, but we are able to walk in the forest. We meet people and chat in the forest. We meet
Right.
people at
Oh,
different
nice.
places. So we still stay in contact. And of course, being part of Get Set Up, you're talking to people of your own age all the
All the time.
time.
Yes. All
And
the time.
so you
Yes.
you actually build up a relationship with the different people who come into
So
your
nice.
class every
Yeah.
time. And oh, hello, you're back, and lovely to have you. And somebody said, oh, I wasn't feeling so well the other day. Well, how are you today? No, much better, or
It's
not
nice.
quite
You meet a
there
lot of
yet.
people. Yes.
Yeah,
You meet
so
a lot of
it
people. And I think,
really is a lovely, and everybody that's there is wanting to be there. They're not, I teach Chinese children to speak English. A lot of them don't want to be in that class. They want to go and do something else. But the
yeah,
people in Get
exactly.
Set Up want to be there. They've chosen to be there. They booked to be in
Yes,
the class.
exactly. Yeah, because it's
And that
meeting
makes all the
people,
difference.
and I can see that you're a very people's person, having been an educator and stuff like that. You're always with people, and so am I. I consider myself a type A personality. I love meeting people, and sometimes to be locked down and to be shut away is hard. But with Get Set Up, you not only learn something, but you're meeting a community
Absolutely.
and friends from different parts of the world, and it's amazing,
It
as
is.
such.
You are absolutely right with that. And
Yeah,
I mean, today I did a thing on birds, birds in my garden, what I see,
right.
and then others they're all sending me the pictures of the birds in their gardens. So
Oh,
now
so
we're getting
nice.
birds around the world, and
It's
we've chatted
beautiful.
about the different types of birds they've seen and they've got, and so on. And so you really are getting to understand and see each other and get to know the different people. And my
Great.
husband's also very much a people's person. So
Okay, okay.
in that way, he also loves doing all his classes.
Oh,
And
that's great. So what classes
so
does he do in Get Set Up?
he does microgreens, he does Zoom tips and tricks, he does mysteries under the sea.
I want to go,
He's got
I want to attend his classes, but they are what? Microgreens. What's that?
that's growing microgreens. That's growing small plants which are very healthy for you to eat instead of having to grow the whole bush or the big plant.
Ah, when is his next class?
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
ask.
tell me.
When's your next microgreen class? Wednesday next week, midday, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, Wednesday is the
16th, is it?
ah
15th,
I
15th.
am hosting a social hour on Wednesday, the 16th, and Get Set Up, my first social hour.
Oh, wow.
So
What time?
please, 12 o'clock. So I might have to go to his next class, but I'll look it up. But please join my class, Sue.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about maybe lockdowns or something like that.
I
So I'm not
will
going to tell you much.
definitely, I'll
Yes.
book for that.
Yeah, please
Definitely.
book. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, Mala. My name is Mala, and I think this is coming out from India, but everybody can see because I was
Okay,
connected with. So it's from Malaysia. My name is Mala, and it's Wednesday 16th at 12 o'clock.
I will certainly do that, and I will
That will be
certainly book
lovely
into
because
that.
I would see a familiar face and I'll be
Yeah.
confident because it's going to be my
No,
first time.
definitely.
The first
Definitely,
time.
Marla. I will do that for you with pleasure. I'll be
Great,
delighted
great,
to be part
great.
of your class.
And
Yeah, no,
how long have you been with Get Set Up?
since February.
So February, and what are the classes that you have given?
I've done a lot of children classes about being around your grandchildren. I've done classes of creating from waste. Now I'm doing
Okay.
classes like quizzes, games nights, birds and encounters with wild animals.
Wow.
What else? Oh, what's on your bucket list? There
That's
are at the
interesting.
moment there are.
I must take that down. What's on your bucket list is something that's good for me
That's
to ask
yes,
also. What's on your bucket?
yes.
A lot of people
What's
will
on
say travel. What's on your
yeah,
travel bucket list? Yes.
yeah.
You
No,
know?
I talk about two types of bucket list. I talk about your soul bucket list and your big thing bucket list. So yeah, come and join. It'll be
I will do
wonderful
that.
to have you
I will
there.
look you up definitely. And
Mm.
so this class that you are we are both talking. What class is this? Or
This
it's
one's
just
called
a social
this.
hour?
This is come join us, come make friends. What
Oh,
they are busy promoting this, particularly because there's a new market of Australians coming on board. And so
okay,
what we
okay.
are trying to do is do it more in the Australian time zone, so that the Australians will come on board. And so that's why we are hosting it later in the afternoon when it's too late for people
Okay.
who are in
In
America
the
to be
US,
in the
in
class.
America,
Yeah,
yes, I can
yeah.
imagine. Because
So
I know the person who wants me to start on this told me that a lot of Malaysians from Australia are coming on to the Indian website. And so she thought maybe, can get somebody from Malaysia to talk about Malaysia. And there
fantastic.
will be a lot of things that I'm sure I can talk about. But microgreens, I'm going to look up. And what's your husband's name?
Michael
Michael. Okay.
Michael
Because I'm
Plumstead.
interested. I am not a very good gardener in the sense that plants just die on my hands, but I'm sure he'll be able to teach the correct
Well,
way.
I tell you something you might find interesting is on Monday at
Mhm.
11 o'clock on Monday.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
one of mine called Upcycling Gardening Time.
Oh,
And
upcycling.
in that we take things that you have in your home and we use them in the garden in totally different ways to the way that you would expect.
Wow.
And that's a fun one to do. It's you don't have to be an avid gardener to do it, but you can certainly have some fun in the garden
Okay.
and do things with that.
I will do that because there's so much that you can learn from stuff out of. I learned how to do crafts, and then I learned how to do Zoom, and a little bit on YouTube from Get Set
Right.
Up,
Uh-huh.
and then exercise.
Yeah. And
that
I
is good.
started origami today. My first origami
Okay.
class was this morning,
Wow.
where we made boxes and envelopes and things, and that was also great. So
I
there are
got to
lots of
learn how to do it when you are teaching. How do you program this thing? Like, I mean, do you have to have a video, and do you have
No,
to do everything?
I haven't got any of those things. I
Okay.
just make my picture big and I then show them and I make it in front of them and I do it in front of them. And we do it
Okay.
step by step by step. And if they're not sure of the step, you redo the step and then you keep going.
Okay.
And
Simple
that's
way.
where it works. Yeah. Slowly,
Okay, that's
slowly
great.
catch your monkey.
I
You
know,
can
I
do it.
know. So
Yeah.
you love it in Perth, and
Yeah.
when the borders open, you plan to go back to South Africa for a
To
couple of
visit.
months?
To go
Visit,
visit my
yes.
grandchildren. Yes, definitely go back and visit the grandchildren. But the lovely thing about Get Set Up, I can do it from South Africa. I can do it from anywhere in the world.
Exactly,
So
yes.
it doesn't matter where I am.
Where you
I
are,
can still do
yes.
it. Yeah.
And
So,
how old are the grandkids in South Africa? Are they?
not quite 3 and not quite 1.
Okay, still young kids, yes.
Still very young.
There'll be a lot of stuff that you can. I'm sure they'll be missing you. The last I saw my grandson, in Houston was when he was 4 months old. And now he's
Wow.
2 years old. I've missed out
Oh,
a whole loads of growing up time, and
absolutely.
that's sad. And that's really sad because I really miss them, I mean, I FaceTime them every day, or we talk or we do a Zoom chat. But I was sad, but I have my son here, so that makes up for this. So you only have two children?
I have 2. Michael has 9. So we have 11. So we have a lot of children in the family.
Great, you have a big family. And
Very
where's
big.
Michael's family from? In Australia or?
No, South Africa. He grew up in South Africa as well. We grew up
Wow.
in South Africa, and now his family are in around the world. There's some in South
Around.
Africa, there's some in England, there's some in the Netherlands. So they are all around. And
When
some
I
of them,
decide to go to South Africa, I will definitely contact you for ideas
oh
where to
yeah.
go in Cape Town. I love Cape Town.
Mm.
It's
Uh,
that's really my
oh,
bucket list.
yeah. Michael
Yeah.
has, I think he's changing it for next week, but he'll go back. When he does Google Maps, he did a tour around Cape Town for that. But I think his
Okay.
next one is he's going somewhere else next time. But he will go back to South Africa as part of his trips around the world. So yes.
So when you say he does Google Maps to South Africa, what does he tells you?
No, what he's doing is he's
Just
teaching you how to use Google Map or Google
okay.
Earth. Google Earth.
Google
And
Earth.
then
Okay.
and then he does a virtual tour around Cape Town
That's really interesting. I will
using Google Earth. I'm going to
see.
use Google Earth on Thursday for road trip. I'm going to be doing the eastern mountainous part of South Africa, where there are beautiful waterfalls, and I'm going to try and use Google Earth as well for that, just to give
Wow.
people an idea in amongst what I'm doing.
You
So
have
it
learned
should be
so
interesting.
much of Get Set Up and how to project yourself in just
Trying.
4 months. No, but it's
Yeah.
a great thing. It's just a natural, And I hope I just don't freeze next
no,
Wednesday.
you won't. You
So
won't freeze. People are so friendly, and people are so. If those that have their cameras off, that's fine. You think, okay. Sometimes you'll have a class where there's nobody with a
yes.
camera on, and then you think, okay, I'm a TV presenter today, so let's just be a TV presenter.
Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more about some tips. Like I know I'm going to start off by introducing myself, and then tell them what I know about Get Set Up, and then I'm going to ask them all tell me a little bit about yourself, your name, you'd like to,
Yeah.
and where are you from? And then we just
Correct.
go around the numbers of people, if there are 5 or 6 or whatever. And then I'll just say, well, how I heard about Get Set Up. And well, how did I hear about Get Set Up? My daughter works for Get Set Up in Houston.
Aha. Okay. That's the way to learn.
So that's how this whole connection came, because she met this lady in Mumbai who is again. She said, "Hey, my mom is in Malaysia." She said, and since there are a lot of interest from the Malaysians, maybe she can be out here in Malaysia and be someone to be able to introduce Get Set Up to Malaysia. So that's how I've been talking to them, and we did a dry run today of just telling me what are the topics to talk on, safe topics, which are not too controversial. So I thought my topic will be on what are you guys doing in a lockdown? Is that okay, Sue?
Yeah. What do you do?
What do you do in a lockdown?
What hobbies have you developed?
Yes, that's the thing I'm going to ask them.
While you're in lockdown?
What do you do?
What from Get Set Up? What have you learned that you can
learn
now
from
use?
Get Set Up? Yes,
and what can you now use? Yeah.
Oh,
so those are all very safe questions to ask, and everybody will have something different, and
of course,
and some will have the same, and then they'll say, "Oh yeah, I also thought of that," or "I also
you just
did
get
this."
Everybody talking. Yes. In fact, what came out of lockdown for me is cooking. I'm not a good cook, My mother was a great cook, and then because she was such a good cook, I never took up cooking. And it sort of missed this one generation. And then now my daughter is a good cook. She said, my mother doesn't know how to cook. I'm going to cook. So I developed cooking, and I just love it. I'm turning out really nice meals, and I have a Thermomix.
Fantastic.
So it is
Oh,
wonderful.
wow.
Yeah, you
So
know,
that
so
is
so that's something to talk about, because I really
Mhm.
never thought I would, and I'm trying to do other things, you know, as such, of course, whilst I'm working also. But it's nice to know what others are doing and how they're faring and what are they doing, you know, so that they don't feel bored and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Yes,
Yeah,
that
no,
would be great.
and those of them who say, you know, they're still feeling that they're feeling sad because they haven't got enough to do, you can say to them, well, you know,
Yeah,
there's so many different courses. Choose one and see if you
one.
like it.
If you
And then
like it,
from there, you can go to another one, or you might choose a guide that you really feel that you can listen to. And then you just
exactly.
go to that guide. It doesn't matter if it's not a topic you that interested in, you're interested in the guide, and then
Right,
you can follow
exactly.
your guide. So you know, so
So good.
there's that's I had somebody in class the other day who said to me, I said, why are you here? She says, because it's you. So I went, oh, okay.
That's That's
So
good. That's
you
good.
know,
That's a great
so
compliment, because and you give a lot of positivity
yes,
and hope to a lot of people who maybe don't know what to do. Like, you know, some of my friends are not coping well with this lockdown and
mm,
stuff. So I asked them, what are you doing? Oh, well, you know, and at the end of the day, you end up watching a lot of TV and Netflix and stuff like that. So
you can only
so
do so much. You
yeah,
could,
you can do that much. True. So it'd be nice if they can learn something, you know. And I make a lot of greeting cards and
mhm.
magnets. I make
So
very nice greeting
you
cards.
do that as one of the classes. You
One of the
make
classes.
you
Yes.
make a greeting card. You get the people to bring their paper, and then they
Okay.
make the greeting card with you. They do
With
it
me.
step by
Ah,
step, and at the end,
okay.
they've got their one greeting card that they've made. Like
That they
so, for
can make.
instance. Yeah, like today we made a box, and the one lady was so happy because she's never been able to make a box, and just by
Ah.
doing it step by step with me, she came out with her box, and she was so proud of her box that
Oh,
she'd
I'm
made in
so
the end. And
so
so
interested.
it just makes it so worthwhile when people really are enjoying themselves. The idea is for them to have fun, and enjoy themselves, and feel that they're part of a community, because
Of
that's what
course.
Get Set Up
Of
is.
course.
It's a
That's what gets
community.
serves all
It's a
right. Yeah,
family,
it's so easy.
and
Family. Yes.
it's
And
a family.
oh, that is really good. I'm so glad. I was just looking to book a few classes, and then I saw this one that's now, and I said, okay, I will click
Now,
on now, and that's how it
well,
is. Oh,
I'm
that's good.
so glad
That's
you
good.
did. I'm really
Yes.
glad you
Thank you
joined
so
me
much
for
for some of
that.
the
It
tips
was.
that some of the tips that. So when is your next class after today? Are you having another class
Uh,
today or?
no, this is my third
Oh,
one for today already. So
okay.
Monday
Wow.
morning at 7 a.m. is my next one.
And what's that?
It's Birds in My Garden. And
Ah,
at
tell us.
11 o'clock is Upcycling Garden Time. So both of those are nice ones. So
Ah, okay.
so those
Okay.
are
Okay.
two that we have. And then the next day, it's also 7 o'clock in the morning is oh, I can't think at the moment. Hold on, I'll tell you right now because I've just done it. To what we are on the 14th. Yeah, Birds in My Garden and Upcycle Gardening Time, then Encounters with Wildlife and Fairy and Gnome Gardens for adults.
So
How
these
to
are
make
your slides, is it? These are your
Yeah,
slides.
yes,
Do you
these are
show
my
them your
slides.
slides or do you?
We go between the two. I show
Okay,
slides and then we talk, and we show slides and we talk.
slides and then you should talk.
So
Okay.
and then I've also got the trivia quiz. It's movie night this week. So each week there's something
Oh,
different. So we have a variety of things.
oh,
And then
nice, nice.
at the end, you have your thank yous where you share your thank yous, and you explain some of the things that you've got that are upcoming.
Okay,
And then you will give class notes and a little email to say thank you for being part of the class. Uh,
okay. So
you
how do I get a copy of this? Can you send it to me or?
You ask Get Set Up. These are Get Set Up slides. They will send you
Oh,
the
okay. I can
templates.
ask them. I can ask them. So
And
it can be all
they
booked up.
will send you they'll send you the templates, and then you put in your own
That's
content
great. I
into
can do
that. You put your
Okay.
own content into it.
That's
But
really nice.
certainly they will help you. And if you do need help, just send a message via help. They will put you in contact with me, and we can talk.
I'll do
No
that.
problem at
We
all.
can talk.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
have
I'll do
have
that.
a mini Zoom between us, and I'm happy to help you with pleasure.
Oh, that'll be great. Thank you so much. So you are my tech support.
I'm not so sure about that one, but I can certainly help.
What
you
is
with
this
something.
movie trivia? What is this movie trivia? I saw something that.
Yeah, we have 20 we have 30 questions, and it's I break it up into batches of, we do 3 questions at a time, and then we answer them together, and then after 10 we check each other's on, we check how many people have got, and we go through all the different movies of our eras, which would be the 60s, 70s, 80s sort of type movies. So it's the older movies, it's not the modern ones.
Oh, nice.
It's for seniors. It's definitely
it's for seniors. Yes,
yeah,
I know.
So
I know.
not the moderns, no.
Not the ones.
No.
Okay.
The old ones. But you're welcome to come into any of the classes. It'll be a pleasure to have you in those classes.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marla. It has been awesome. Right. Great to have you. Thank you, Brandon, for being with me too.
Wonderful to have bumped into you and known you. You are one exciting lady. Okay.
So I look forward to seeing you again.
Yes,
have a lovely day.
Okay.
Bye.